You got a wife and she's gorgeous. What's wrong with you?
You need your head examined. So this is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and Trang and I were at the market the other day, and we ran into this gentleman, Denny, and we saw him on a beautiful motorcycle, and we said, "Hey, do you speak English?" And he said yes. And Denny's been agreed to come on the channel and just share some of his experience is unmatched anywhere in the world that I know of. So Denny, I'm really pleased to have you on the channel.
Cool.
Welcome. So Denny, where are you from, first of all?
I'm from New Mexico in America. Santa Fe, New Mexico is my home in the States.
Yeah.
And Nha Trang is my other home in Vietnam.
Which is where we are now.
Yes.
How do you say it?
Nha Trang.
Nha Trang, Vietnam.
Yes.
And how long have you been coming to Nha Trang?
33 years, since 1991.
I told you it was unique. 33 years, that's a...
33 years, and I'm still living in Nha Trang. Amazing.
But you also have been to other countries.
Yes. I've traveled, being in Southeast Asia, I've traveled to Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, not Myanmar yet, but I want to.
And how did you pick Nha Trang?
Well, it's funny, because I was traveling with another friend who took me to Asia, and we got to Saigon. We did Cambodia, we did Laos, we got to Vietnam, and I really liked Vietnam. And we spent some time in Saigon, and then we got to Nha Trang, and when we got to Nha Trang, I left my friends. I stayed here, and they traveled on. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to see this city.
Yeah.
1991, I was like the first foreigner to hang out here.
Yeah.
And I met some really good local people. The food quality was unbelievably good and so cheap. I said, this is my kind of place. 6-kilometer beachfront. Perfect. Nice clean water and great food.
Yeah.
And lots to see.
Yeah, it's
and winters, the weather is beautiful here. It's temperate. We have nice warm winters versus in the north it's rainy and colder. So I can live the endless summer. I highly recommend this country for everyone. The people are genuine. It's the land of the golden smile. They will go out of their way to help you. Most general cases. Now the big cities, we don't travel too much because they're full of tourists.
What would you say that, you know quite a few expats around Vietnam, what would you say, what's a range of cost of living that people spend to live here, would you say?
The Westerners, they can be cost effective if they're aware of it. Like where you eat, where you drink, how much you drink, so on and so forth. The average price for most foreigners to live here would be $800 to $1,200 US a month.
Right.
And that's living like a king. Now, the locals live very cheap. They live on probably $100 to $200 a month. And that's two people, husband and wife. Now, there's been several months where we've lived for $500 US, but with my bikes, it doesn't happen. My bikes cost me maintenance. So we're on the average, we live on $1,000 a month. That's everything. Rent, food, traveling around, gas, everything. So I'd say that most Westerner can live on $1,000 a month very comfortably in Vietnam.
Would that vary much depending on whether you're single or you're in a relationship?
In a relationship, you can save more money than when you're single, because if you're with a Vietnamese, she will look after you. She will help make things cheaper. Your groceries, blah, blah, blah. They know what to do. And they try to save our money as much as they can.
Yeah.
When you're single, you go out more, you spend more money, you're out at the bars, you're looking at girls, you're blah, 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 as a male. It's a man's world here for the most part. Women travelers don't seem to like it as much as men travelers. when they travel here, because the men come to meet a woman, to have affection. Women like it too. I mean, there's a lot of Western women travelers that have a great time here. And some of them do meet Vietnamese men and get married and take that man to their country, which is a beautiful thing. So we just share. We just share our experiences together and expand. Give the Vietnamese a greater outlook on another place in the world, and vice versa. When we come here, we learn how to be Asian. And when they come to the West, they learn how to be Western. So we intermingle, which culturally is not easy. But we strive and we keep plugging, we keep doing it, and we manage. And as time goes on, you learn how to deal with each other, with the cultural differences. That's the hardest part. I do a KTM private tour group that I have, and most of these trips are on my motorcycles, my wife and I, and we take people off the beaten path around Vietnam mostly, and some in Laos and some in Cambodia.
Yeah, so he's unique in many ways. He has top-of-the-line motorcycles, and I haven't been on the trip yet, but I've seen his Facebook page, and we're going to put links below for it. But if you want to see Vietnam, boy, this is the man to see.
Yeah, I know the country better than most Vietnamese in my 33 years of driving around here.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a rider's paradise.
Yeah.
You can't get better than this. I take you guys off the beaten path where nobody gets to go, or just a few and far between. And that's real Vietnam. You get to see real Vietnam on my bikes, not where all the Westerners are. Most of the time we go where you don't see any other Westerner the whole time. Once in a while, a few, but that's it.
Do you feel safe living in Vietnam?
Absolutely.
So when you first got here, did you speak Vietnamese?
No.
How long did it take?
5 years.
5 years.
But I had to tutor.
Okay.
I tutored for 3 months at a time, 3 months off, 3 months at a time, 3 months off.
Right.
So I could learn certain amount and then take a break and teach myself. They have a better lifestyle now than they did 25, 30 years ago.
Right.
And there's a lot more money in the country. The Vietnamese are doing fairly well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was here before they had cars. And that was 91. They only had taxis in Saigon and Hanoi. Nothing in Nha Trang. Only cyclos and bicycles.
And the cyclo is the bicycle with the
yeah, like a rickshaw.
rickshaw like you'd see in China or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And that's how you got around, or a motorbike taxi.
Right. Right.
And then a few years later come the taxis, only the taxis. And then it just slowly got more and more, and now there's so many cars, it gets gridlock.
Yeah.
Buses and cars, and we didn't have big buses
And
then.
they actually make cars now in Vietnam.
Yeah, the VinFast.
Yeah.
Beautiful automobile.
Yeah. And they're electric and gas,
Yes.
right? They sell both.
They're hybrid.
And they have electric motorcycles made here
Yes,
too,
they
right?
do.
Yeah.
VinFast.
VinFast, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. They're quiet.
Yeah.
They don't make noise like my bikes.
Right. How often do you go home to America?
Just about every year. I have a building business at home that I'm slowly retiring out of after 38, 40 years.
Right.
And so I still make money enough to come back here and be with my wife and be in Vietnam, my other home, the land of the free.
Tell us about that feeling of freedom. Tell us more about that.
It's really a nice way of lifestyle here versus America. We have too many rules and regulations that are sometimes a good thing, but most times they're just too strict. So I come here and we can go anywhere we want. We can do anything we want. Nobody seems to care. To each his own. And that's the Buddha way. And everybody leaves everybody alone. Everybody gets along. They drive on the streets chaotic, but they work it out.
do you buy health insurance here, or you just pay
No,
as you go? Or
day by day.
Day by day.
Yep, I don't have health insurance in America. So when I come here, it's super cheap for my medicines, for everything I need. A doctor, now doctors are good, few and far between. You must have to know where they are. And now it's getting much better than in 20 years ago. The medical scene here was not good. I've helped a few children in my years here with one with trachoma and one with Graves' disease. I've saved their lives. Now they are teenagers, married, have kids, and living a better lifestyle.
A lot of Americans come here and they want to date. Do they meet mostly online, would you say, or do they meet?
Nowadays, it is mostly online because it's easier. It's you don't have to go to a bar and meet a bar girl. The bar girls are not the ones you want. They're just for a fun time, and they'll take your money, and then you're gone. And then the next person comes along and it's the same. So to get a heart-sided relationship, yeah, you probably are better online now than you are in the general public. It just depends. You know, you meet somebody at the right place at the right time, bingo. It happens.
Yeah.
I met my wife in a bar, and she wasn't like the normal bar girls. And I saw that right away. I took a tour with boys on the bikes, and they wanted to go look at girls in 𝗏𝗏, so we went to the bar. I took them to a few bars so they could look at girls and have fun, play pool, drink, buy the girls a drink, and see where it goes. And everyone I take for rides, mostly men, they want to go at night and look at girls.
What are some of the web pages that people use to date here?
I think the most popular is called 𝗂𝐿𝐴𝐻, and that's all, it's pretty much international, I believe. The women here like to have an older man who's established, they can be taken care of. That's in the bottom line, that's what they think. And that's what they want. Now, when you take an Asian woman that's 30 years younger than you to America or wherever you live in the West, that's unbelievable. The other men see that and they're like, can I come to Vietnam and visit you? I want to meet somebody like that. Yeah, of course you can. Now, when you get married in this country, if you are 30 years older than your fiance or your spouse, you have to get a psych evaluation test to see if you're cuckoo or not. So that's part of the marriage thing. If you are 30 years older, then they send you for that test to make sure that you are compatible and you're not, either of you are crazy. It's the funniest little test. It's like a child test. You know, it's how many circles, how many apples, how many pears. I mean, it's just this ridiculous. You go in there's 3 or 4 pages, you multiple choice, this, that, and the other, and then boom, you're out of there.
Would you say it's easier to find love overseas or here in Vietnam than it is back in the U.S.?
Absolutely. For someone who, you know, when we get above 50 or 60, you know, the young girls don't look at you in America. They look at you here. They're attracted to you. Fat, skinny, whatever you are, they don't care. They like a little mop. That shows wealth. It shows he's healthy. My husband has a little belly on him. I like that.
And so,
but I will show you this country like no other foreigner can. And that's a promise.
I would bet that after 33 years. Yeah.
And come for a visit. Let me show you around this country that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a rider's paradise. So if you're a rider, come visit. I'll take you some places that will be in your memory for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and he's well known all over Vietnam. We heard about him.
Yeah, I'm sort of like nonchalantly famous. I don't like to be famous. I don't want that limelight. But when I'm with you, I will give you that personalized service like nobody gives. And that's why we don't travel with 10 bikes, 12 bikes, 15 bikes. No. 2, 3, 4 bikes maximum for me.
Yeah.
And I can take good care of you. I can keep you safe, and I can give you personalized service 24 hours a day. So you're happy when you leave.
Yeah.
And you tell all your friends.
So this seems silly to ask you now, but are you happy, Denny?
When I come to Vietnam, I'm happy. When I go to America, I become my working self that has pain and, you know, from my building business, and I'm away from my wife.
Yeah.
Until I get her visa, I still have to leave her 5, 6 months. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's not happy for me. So when I get back here, my happiness comes back.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The first link in the notes below this YouTube video is for Denny's Vietnam motorcycle tour Facebook page. The second link is my retired cheap report for Nha Trang, Vietnam. As I travel around the world, I write these retired cheap in paradise reports. They include links to where we stayed, restaurants, cheap public markets, expensive grocery stores, transportation information, internet speeds, visa information, weather, and other information. All of this information saves time when you are doing your exploratory visits to identify your own personal paradise destination. We spend hours collecting and preparing this information, so you don't have to. Click the first link in the notes below this video to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.